We have papers, and I think all 4 cats are out, which is strange because what? This is my old girl. Why are you out if you want to cry like that and make that terrible noise? There she is. Go home. It's okay, you don't need to come with me. Anyway, yeah. So, the question that I think I should answer is, how long does the travel effect last for me? And I would say it wore off yesterday. But first of all, let me sort of clarify. What do I mean by this? I mean, see, you don't ever really, no matter what you do, no matter how many drugs you take, no matter if you get a lobotomy, you don't get rid of avoidant personality disorder symptoms, feelings. If you did, then you would just have social anxiety disorder, and you'd have a whole lot more treatments available, and things would be better for you. And of course, you can have both at the same time also. But avoidant personality disorder, I've got creepy cats coming through the leaves to come be with me. Anyway, it doesn't go away. But it's also not stable. And so it sort of can be affecting you more or less. And also you can be more affected by it more or less. And both of those things probably make no sense. What I mean is, sometimes, at least 2 there, sometimes you ruminate more than others. And sometimes what you ruminate about is sort of nastier to your mental health than others. Okay, so that's talking really general, but I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So what happens is, when I'm traveling, I don't have time to ruminate. And so I have the avoidant feelings and thoughts and impulses, but they sort of like go into my head and straight back out, and I don't have time to dwell on them or let them hang around and stick there. And when I come back after a trip, it slowly, the ruminations get longer and longer, but I have new things I can ruminate about and wonder about and think about and sort of replace my ruminations. In other words, I can actually do cognitive behavioral therapy like you're supposed to always be able. I mean, that's basically what I'm doing, is replacing my negative thoughts with better ones that don't bother me as much. That's, in a nutshell, that's what you're supposed to do. That's what the current, best therapy is for people with avoidant personality disorder, the stuff that doesn't work. Because if you actually try to flip it and think positively, you will immediately upend it again and actually feeling worse, because then you get double negative pounding on yourself, and also can't trust yourself for ever attempting to force a positive thought in your head. That's what you're supposed to do with cognitive behavioral therapy. But because I'm not focused on myself when I'm doing the traveling, I'm focused on entirely outside of myself, on this new experience I had, in this new place I had. And it's such a massive amount of instant memories that I really can pick and choose to focus on the better ones, the ones that affect me less. And that effect does last a little while. I'm actually surprised that this one shut down so quickly, considering just how cool at least two of the experiences were. There was like one experience especially, that's just breaking my brain and makes me come up with 68 different reasons why it was like really bad. Telling myself stories about what the motivation of another person is. But mostly I didn't actually interact with anyone long enough to feel like they would memory at all. I did not interact with enough people. I wouldn't recognize anybody that I saw there because it was just like teeming with people. And, unlike when I was going to Florida before, you wait in line, and even if it's 10 minutes, you're with the same person for 10 minutes, and it sort of gets to you after a while. Like maybe I'm being judged by these people that aren't paying the slightest bit of attention to you because they're all wondering why they're standing in line so long. Yeah. Even when I had to, and I did have to, stay in lines, it was so radically different that I didn't get to that point. It wasn't long enough for me to get to that point to have that overwhelming, sort of, it's like a bag going over your head when the avoidant thoughts come back and take over everything. And you sort of, everything is seen through this film of the bag over your eyes. You can't really see what's going on. When I was on this trip especially, sometimes I felt like I was being judged. I'm not saying I never did. But I could sort of, I don't know, like ditch it. I could just decide that I had other things I needed to focus on. Because I really did. I was under a major time crunch most of the trip. I had appointments that I had to make and almost no way of getting them. Although, I was a little late to almost everything, which kills me. But I did do absolutely everything on my list of what I wanted to do, which is kind of stunning. That's rare that you really, can do a packed trip and actually pull off everything that you had on your list. Anyway, so in other words, it was a good trip. But I do think it's kind of not fair to also say, because I'm looking at it like, okay, so I was traveling on 4 days. That it was just shy of a day to travel back and forth, 48 hours in the place. It was on 4 days. And it's about 8 days that the effect lasted, like strongly. I don't think that's fair to like break it down and say it will be twice as long that I'm having this effect, and that I can sort of bank on that. I think this would have lasted longer, but the timing sucked. Because yesterday was Easter. Family I grew up in was very religious, Christian oriented. And so, even though I personally don't celebrate or believe, it's like I'm supposed to. And so, this massive judgment just comes crashing on me of what you're supposed to do on these holidays. And I feel like pathetic about it. Okay, so, oh, that's so early. Do you hear that? I'm an entire house. Oh my God. Someday I'm going to actually go in those woods. Do you hear that? It's the interlude to listen to the ghost, or whatever it is. It's crazy. Anyway. Yeah. Good night, ghost. I'm gonna go collect my cats. It is windy. So the ghost is having some, that's really windy. I don't understand. It's not connected to the wind. When it's not windy and then now it's windy, it's not making that sound. What the heck? Anyway, we've been over this. Yeah. So, first of all, is I'm remembering how I've been judged in the past by my family, and what my familial expectations are that I'm blowing out the window. There's issue number one. Issue number two was because, of course, it's Easter, so I had a day off, and you're supposed to spend time with your family. That's what I did. And I went to go see my son, which means basically I went to go clean his house, which I keep saying I'm going to clean his house. I can only stand it for like an hour. So I'm not going for an entire day. I'm just going for a day, and mostly he's doing it. I'm just sort of there and encouraging him. I don't know. I mean, it's making progress. The problem is when you start doing something like that, of course, everything that you do just shows you 6 more things that you need to do. So it actually went really well. But then I was like, okay, it's Easter. I'll go visit my father in the hospital with his severe Alzheimer's. And I've made a decision for now. You know me, my decision sticking ability never ever stays there. But I have decided I'm not going to be visiting my father again, basically for both our mental health, because he really wishes I was there. He wishes I would stay like forever, and there's very limited hours. It's in the hospital that we can actually, Christmas lights still, what the heck, that we can stay there. And so he wants me to stay forever, and he definitely wants to leave with me when I leave. He has extremely limited cognitive ability, but he definitely remembers that he wants to be just about any place but there. I hear one of my cats. And he gets very, very teary. And, my father wasn't especially the best guy when I was growing up, but you see an old man like that, it doesn't matter. I mean, it just breaks your heart to see. So I actually called and talked to the doctor and said, hey, oh, there they are. It's two of them. It's Perry and Poppy, based on the white feet. Before he went and got his diagnosis, that year before, he spent a lot of time crying. And they put him on an antidepressant, and it basically stopped. And of course, I haven't seen him for a year due to the pandemic and lockdowns. And I think that basically, he's gone through people, they don't know him, they don't know what's going on. I think that he needs to get his medications adjusted. And I told him that, and hopefully they'll do that. And the cats were right around here somewhere. Who knows where they are? Anyway, until they've adjusted his meds and he's not crying every time he sees me, I'm not going to go visit him anymore. Which is terrible. But you know what? I've got an aunt and uncle that are scheduling all the time going to see him. There's one of them. So he won't be completely by himself, but I really do have to stay away. So this is why I'm saying, yeah, this travel thing that I did, and the fact that I can somehow push off the avoidant personality disorder and push off the ideation. Because the ideation stops. It stops, and it goes from, my baseline ideation, which I really shouldn't talk about, but whatever, 10 to 20 times a day, every day. That's like a good day. That's not a bad day. That's a good day. It's just automatic or something, but it's not, because it's always reactive to something, a thought that I've had, a rumination that I've had, not something that's like actually interacting with at that time. It's always when I'm thinking back on stuff, I'm like, oh, let this be done with. And I'm seriously 10 to 20 times, and that's good day. When I'm traveling, it will knock down to, oh, there's Perry. And there's my little tripod humping around. I shouldn't call it that. Look at him being cute. When I'm traveling, it usually gets down to 5 or less a day. But when I come back, it'll be days and days where I don't have any ideation at all. It's gone. Yeah, this is Perry and Poppy. Pansy was out, and I'm sure she's gone back home because she's just like, nope. And Percy is the guy that you can't see until he's decided he wants us to see him. So I'm sure that he's around somewhere too, and I just don't know where he is. Anyway, those are my 4 cats. So that's a tremendous effect. And this is why, even though I thought traveling like this maladaptive coping technique, because it's not something I can do consistently, and it's so dependent on, me not working, but having funds to pay when I'm on, on a trip, and also finding a new place to travel. I mean, I came back and it was that very day that I started thinking, where should I go next? And I have a big trip already planned for next November, which who knows if that's going to happen, because that's an international trip, and as of right now, that's not a possibility. So I'm just betting that it's going to be. And if it is, I'm going on it. Yeah, so I mean, what happens if I have an injury and I can't travel anymore? Then there goes my adaptive, coping technique gone. But I've had more than one therapist, I think 3, tell me they think that it's an adaptive technique. It's extreme. It's not something that other people can probably maintain. But it is, for me, an adaptive coping technique, and an effective one at that. And the other one that I talked about before, which is strange, I don't know why it only affects me and not many other people. Do you see him? What the heck is going on with this thing? I guess you can't see him. Anyway, actually I think it's zoomed in is the problem with this camera. Can't tell when it's so dark. Anyway, is drinking coffee. And I definitely want to hold on to that one. So I only drink coffee as it's like a rescue inhaler type situation. I don't do it all the time because it's really effective, and I don't want it to lose its effectiveness. It's pretty easy, to find a cup of coffee somewhere and get that hit. And so if I'm really in a bad way, it's pretty quick and easy to override that. I don't want to not have that. So anyway, yeah. Oh, and I don't drink coffee on trips either. I don't know. I mean, those are the things that work for me right now. Because medicine doesn't work. Therapy doesn't work. I'm very isolated, extremely isolated. I don't have people that I can talk to. So that's what works, and that's how long it works. And maybe the next one, I suspect I'm going to do a small trip next. I mean, mostly because, again, I'm doing this big, huge thing in November, and I have to bank it. And I do have the Patreon, and I do get contributions, and I do save them up for the big trip, because I used funds when I went to Hawaii, and I will save them up, and I use it either as a emergency fund, because then I would, because I can empty the Patreon into my account in one day if I needed to, if I ever got stuck somewhere. Or, again, I mean, I had upgrades and extra days on the trip to Hawaii because I was using Patreon funds. Which, yes, I still have half my Hawaii trip that has not been posted on Instagram. And I have half of my Nevada trip that has not been posted on Instagram. So, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll be seeing lots and lots of pictures. Lots and lots and lots of pictures. You hear the peepers? Spring is coming. Anyway. There's Percy. The one that didn't want to be seen. The one that went running past me like a buffalo or something. Anyway, so yeah, that's how long it lasted. But I think there were circumstances that may have prematurely caught the effect. And so next time I do another trip, I will give another update like this. Let you know really how long the effect lasts.